Hey, Patrick here with Denali Racing and Performance. This video I'm going to showcase two new products for the LS. The first one I'll start off with is our dowel pin fixture kit for the LS main caps. To help explain, typically you have your main cap here, you have your block, there's a mating surface in between. What can happen in high horsepower, if it's boosted, nitrous, or even higher RPM NA, the main cap tends to walk. Regardless of it having 6 bolts, typically on an LS, it's still going to walk. We want to prevent that. Some of the problems that can occur, especially on the middle bearing here, the middle cap, is the thrust. If that starts to walk, it starts to really pinch that tolerance between the crank and the bearing, and then we don't have enough oil wedge specifically on that LS thrust bearing in the middle here. The best way to overcome that is going to be pinning the main cap to the block. So how we do that, we'll start off here. You're going to get, first off, you're going to get these two here. These are billet 6061, designed by me, machined here. And they have 2 drill guides in them, 1/4 inch. Okay, so we're going to be doing 1/4 inch dowel pins. We'll start off with the main cap side. It's going to say LS main cap. It's going to have an arrow for forward. Okay, it's going to have your 2 drill bushings in there, and it's specifically machined to accept your factory LS main cap. There is an arrow here for forward. Normally your main caps here on your LS are going to be directional, so you're going to want to follow that. If this is forward, you want to put the arrow forward. Now this is a pretty snug tolerance, not too tight, not damaging. You're going to install that on there. Make sure there's no wiggle, shouldn't be. Now you can clamp this here, you can tape it even if you wanted to, and then stick your main cap comfortably in a vise. I recommend aluminum soft jaws. When you do that, you're going to take a 1/4 inch drill bit and you're going to drill down. I recommend about a 1/2 inch total length pin, and it's not going to be a hardened pin. If you have a hardened pin, what's going to happen is it gets too hard and it's going to crack. So you want to use a low carbon pin, some softer material, work that up. Now you can use either a 1/2 inch long pin like I had, or you can use even 5/8 long. What you're going to do is you're going to test this out. This is not something that's going to blindly start drilling into the cap, but you can walk it in. Okay, you'll have plenty of ability to take this cap fixture plate right off and still do it. Now you don't have to tape it down or clamp it down. It's recommended, but if you want to keep checking the distance, you can do that. The other method is, if you have a drill bit and you have a drill bit stop, you can set it up, if you have a caliper, from this surface here, you can set up the depth of that drill bit. Now you don't want to include the 118 degree or whatever degree taper of the drill bit. You have to add for that, so you have to account for that. And you can pre-set up your drill stop on your drill bit so that you can just do it right there. Then install this back onto each main cap and then drill down. Give yourself a little bit more for that main cap on one side and try to stick a little closer to the tolerance on the other. So once you do that, you take your pins, you install them into the main cap, carefully install them going straight down. It would help if you chamfered the holes ever so slightly to install them in there. All right, so that's the LS main cap side. Again, has all the lettering on it, our logo, part number, serial number, instructions, very simple. The other thing to get in the kit is going to be for the block side. It is also labeled, has a part number, our logo. It has forward arrows, both have arrows. Okay, LS block side, forward. This is designed and has cutouts to be able to be installed on each of the 5 main webbing on the block side. Okay, same thing. It has the dowel pin, it has the drill bushing guides here, just like on the cap side. You're going to install this, again, being very careful. It has chamfered edges. It's going to sit into the block. Now both of these are a very snug tolerance. So you do have to be cautious to make sure that it does go down as straight as possible. This is aluminum. This is aluminum, a little softer. Shouldn't damage it at all. But I've tested these. I've sold over 12 so far. It's a new product, and they've worked great and never had an issue. One of them is on my race block. I did the same thing with the same fixture. Okay, so you're going to be able to install these. That's why we have these different cutouts here, because from the number 1 to the number 5, there are castings in the way that will interfere from this being installed. Once you get it installed, you can carefully tap them down, make sure it's all the way down with a rubber mallet, and you're going to proceed to do the same process you did on the cap. You're going to drill down, the same thing, and you're going to chamfer. Now, I drilled and tapped this 5/16 18, so you're going to have to use a slide hammer to remove them. I do not recommend prying up on them and any other surface, because obviously you're going to damage the block and you're going to damage your fixture. Okay, so if you don't have a slide hammer, you can make one. I did. I made one specifically for it. I took a 5/16 bolt I welded it to a 1/2-inch rod from Home Depot. I think I put vice grips on the top of it and used a socket, okay? And only has to be 12 inches long enough, and it's a slide hammer, okay? You're going to do that for every single one on the main web here. It's significantly going to add life to the LS block and the main cap because they do tend to destroy each other. This being a powdered metal cap is going to do a little more damage on here. Okay, so it's definitely a benefit if you're boosting, high boost, high horsepower, high RPM, to keep that cap from walking, to hopefully keep your LS living just a little bit longer. Really cool product. It works great. I've done several for my friends here as well. So pretty happy with coming up with that. And again, the sales for me are speaking for themselves as quickly as I have it on there. It's on my website at dowelracing.com. They go for $200. They don't come with any drill bits or any of the dowel pins. That's on you to get. That is something I think you should get. I did give my opinions about what you should get and what you should do. It's up to you to do that. But I wouldn't be too crazy about really trying to find the perfect pin, but it should be a mil spec. However, again, do not have a hardened steel pin. That's not advised to do. So there's that. Now let's get into our LS coolant kit. This is a weld-on kit, so I'll swap everything over and we'll talk about the LS coolant kit. All right, the last product I want to showcase is our AN conversion kit for the LS1 water pump. This only applies to a factory LS1 water pump. It does not apply to any other brand or any other version of an LS water pump. Okay, I offer these in two sizes, -16 and -20. So if you check out our website at dowelracing.com, there's a drop down. You can select the size you'd like. I also offer replacement parts, so please check out the website. If you need to replace the upper fitting for a new water pump, if it leaks or goes bad, I offer those as well. There's no specific, if you've never purchased from me before, anybody can go on there and purchase this if they'd like, okay? We'll start off with the kit. Again, whether it's -16 or -20, you're gonna get 4 components. The first 2 are male, whatever, AN-16 or 20, weld-ons, okay? You can get them, purchase them from anybody else, but they come in the kit. Those 2 are for your radiator. Now, obviously, they're aluminum. The radiator has to be aluminum, and they get welded on there, okay? The other 2 are going to start off with, this is the upper neck portion of the LS1 water pump, the portion where it goes from the water pump to the top of the radiator, okay? This is the piece you're going to weld onto your water pump, okay? Now, you have to remove the factory stainless steel water neck, water spout that's in there, and this is going to go in its place. This surface here is machined to be just enough to fit inside comfortably without having to press it or hammer it in or be too loose, okay? So that's going to go into the water pump. And in here, I have a V, so this V valley. So instead of having a flat surface here and then you're building up weld around the top and it kind of looks like crap, it's nasty, okay? I put a V in there. That gives you the ability to fill that entire area in there comfortably and really have a good positive sealing. If you've done it right, if you're confident enough, that's going to give you a much better bite of welding this to your water pump, okay? The fourth and final piece here is going to be our thermostat housing. Now, I make these, I CNC machine, okay, the flange here for your thermostat housing, and I also weld on a -20 or -16. This happens to be a -20. I weld this on to this plate here, okay? Now, this is specifically for the removable or individual thermostat, not the one where the thermostat is built into the water neck, okay? So you have to look out for that. This is going to sit inside of here and give sealing on the flange here as well as your water pump, okay? So this is going to bolt on in a factory location. Now you have a male, obviously AN here to attach to your fittings, the hose, whatever you need. So it's really nice because especially if you have a race car, road racing, whatever it is, you don't want to rely on a hose clamp, a spring clamp, or even a factory OEM hose. People do. I tend not to do that, especially with the amount of boost I run specifically on my setup there. This kit is on my truck. So I really don't want to rely on that to have that come off, especially if like somebody lifts the cylinder head a little bit, okay, charge pressure and then charges the coolant system. Well, the weakest link is going to be your factory OEM style water hose, okay? So this kit is really nice. Obviously, you need to know somebody that knows how to weld to be able to install this, but I've made it as easy as possible to do this, and I think with the most reliability with how I've designed this. All right, so please check out dowelracing.com. There's other products on there as well, like the first one I've showcased here, and there's a couple more, and I'm trying to add some as I go. Thanks for watching.